Hello, everybody. How are you doing out there in the YouTube world? I am Marley Bird. I am the host of the Yarn Thing podcast with Marley Bird, and thank you for joining us here today. We are so blessed to have you here with our wonderful guest, Ashley from Heart Hook Home. It's the first time she has been on my podcast, so I'm excited to get a chance to talk to her and learn about her and her company. And I know that you guys are going to love learning about her as well. She is genuinely one of the kindest people I've ever met, and I'm excited to have a future with her in the industry as one of my colleagues. So it should be a really good show. I'm gonna pull out the pop out chat. I forgot to do that earlier. Let's say thank you to our sponsors before we dive in too much. So we have Creative Bug, who is a lovely sponsor of the podcast, and they're owned by Joanne. So thank you so much for that. We have Erin Lane Bags, owner Lindsay Martin. We will be at Stitches West this weekend, right next to the Erin Lane Bags booth. So if you are somewhere in the Santa Clara area, somewhere anywhere around there in Northern California, come and say hello. It doesn't cost that much to get into just the show floor if you want to come join that and walk around, see some of the most amazing fiber booths that you've ever seen in your life. Like, it's absolutely one of the best shows in the country. And I'm so excited to be attending that this weekend with Erin Lane Bags. And that brings me to Stitches.events, which is a sponsor of the podcast. And they are the hosts, the people who run the show. They are the Graham Poobah of the Stitches West event. So thank you to Stitches West. Then we have Buffalo Wool Company, who will also be at Stitches West. See how this all kind of works out? There's all of us are going there because it is going to be absolutely amazing. So hopefully you guys will get a chance to come by as well. And last but certainly not least, Red Heart Yarns, where I'm the proud national spokesperson. We have our own booth, and not only will we have Chic Sheep there, we will have some of our other favorite yarns that are new to the market that maybe you have not seen. And come by, come say hello, feel the wonderful yarns. Learn some things with me and Tamara Kelly from the Moogly blog. She is joining us last minute. And we just were like, you know what? Let's have Tamara come out. So it was so last minute. She's like, yes, I could do this. And so she's joining us there in the booth. And I'm so excited because I heart her. She's amazing. And she and I working together with Red Heart is truly just so much fun. So if you want to learn more about my sponsors, please go to marleybird.com, click on the podcast menu, and you'll see a link for sponsors. You can get a direct link to all of them right there. Go by, say hello, and thank them for sponsoring one of your favorite podcasts. Okay, guys. So we didn't have a show last week, but we were over on Facebook. We were on the Annie's Creative Studio Facebook page. And I was talking to you about a brand new class I have with them. It's called the Chic Shawl, and it uses Chic Sheep yarn. It's truly amazing. I will make sure that we put a link in the video description box after the show. I'll get a link and put it in there so you guys can go check it out. But it is a really fun crochet pattern that teaches you a lot of different skills, and you should have a lot of fun learning with it with me. So there's that. Okay, let's see here. One last thing I feel like I'm forgetting, the show. We always do the show on Tuesday mornings at 10 o'clock Mountain Time. If you are anywhere in the country and would like to join us live for the broadcast, please Google what time 10 o'clock Mountain Time is for you, or simply hit subscribe right here on the Marley Bird YouTube channel. When you hit subscribe, you get notified whenever I go live or when I release a video. So it's a win-win. So go ahead, just hit subscribe and you're done with it. Okay, that's it for the announcements. Let's get to the guest. So we have Ashley, who I can't pronounce your last name, so I haven't even attempted it yet. I'll let you say it here in just a second. From Heart Hook Home. And it's amazing because I came across Ashley. I was surfing Ravelry, as we all do, right? I was just surfing through some of the patterns, looking to see what's new, what's looking good, because I love finding new designers that way. I think sometimes as people, sometimes you don't feel very confident. You're like, all right, I'm going to put this pattern out there and kind of see what people think, and so it goes on Ravelry. Sometimes it just kind of gets lost in the mix and nobody sees it. And so I like to try and just go through and just see what's going on. So I'm going through, I'm on like the first or second page, and I see one of Ashley's patterns, and I'm like, wow, that is really nice. So I click on it and I go to her designer page. I look through all of her patterns. I'm like, wow, these are all really nice. Who is this person? So I join her Facebook page. I start following her. I find out Caitlin follows her. So, I mean, she's just really great. So I'm excited to learn more about her, hear her story, and have her say hello to all of you. So hello, Ashley.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm so glad you're here. I mean, seriously, when Caitlin told me that you were coming on the show today, I was like, yay, I haven't talked to her since last
Right?
month.
Yeah. It's amazing.
So this is really cool. And of course, you're there in your fantastic studio that I know people who follow you on Facebook, they see your Facebook lives from that location as well.
Yep, right here. This is the magic spot.
That's so awesome. It's your sweet spot.
Yeah, right.
So let's let people know more about you and learn about you. So how do you say your last name?
Konechny.
Konechny. See, I was going to say Konechny, and I'm like, maybe that's not
That's what
right.
most people say. Yeah, we've gotten all kinds of different pronunciations from people, and they never know if they're saying it right. But it's just 3 syllables. Konechny.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect. So you have a very fascinating story because, I'm not going to say because it's always fascinating to me when I learn from people's before yarn stories, because there's always everybody does something before they were into yarn. There's those few exceptions where they loved yarn in general. They went to FIT to learn more to deal with yarn. Like they go into that. So far and few between in this industry. There's always the before. And your before is very fascinating because it's still in, I want to say, the social media world or blogging world,
Yeah, sure.
but in a way that I have never heard anybody else have this path before. So I think it's great.
Well, it's kind of crazy because I started, basically I ran a deal and coupon blog, right? And I would go around to all the different stores in our area and find the best deals and share about them. And the whole way that got started was because when my oldest son was a baby, he had a lot of medical issues, a lot of conditions, and it was really expensive to get him all of the things that he needed. So I was looking for ways to save, and I created the deal blog, and I did that for about 7 or 8 years before I switched over and started doing crochet.
So you were one of those crazy couponers.
I really was.
I mean, not that that's a bad thing. When I say crazy, I say that with the greatest amount of love because extreme. There you go. I mean, I remember when we used to live in Fresno, California when I was a kid. I was in 7th grade, and my mom had a 3-ring binder, and it had spots, there were like different spots for coupons. And so first off, every Sunday we'd get like 15 different newspapers, pull the coupons out, cut all the coupons, organize them so that all the same ones were all together. And then we would organize them through like the location in the store. And then she would make her list. And so when we went to the store, we had all of the coupons there. So I've lived that. And it was like the coolest thing ever. We'd come home and we had so many groceries and she didn't spend very much money. But I was like, that's a lot of work.
Yeah. It was so much work. It really was, but it was pretty awesome too, and I haven't couponed that way in several years now, but we're still using up like laundry detergent or paper towels that I had bought way back in the day. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I couldn't even imagine. So you went from coupon blogging, and then how did you get into crochet? I know the real answer, but did you crochet since you were a child?
Of course not. No. I did grow up. My mom is very crafty and she sews a lot, and she actually taught sewing classes at the YWCA when she was younger. But so from when I was in kindergarten, she had us start using her sewing machine. And my first thing I ever made was I sewed a little pocket just to say I could do it. Right. And so just growing up, we've always been really crafty, my whole family. And several years ago, maybe 8 years ago or so, I always go out to see my sister every August. She lives in Illinois, and I go for a long weekend, and she's a knitter and she's huge into knitting, and she's where I am now basically with crochet. And she tried to teach me how to knit, and it was just not working. I don't know. It just wasn't working with my hands. So I tried, I kind of gave up. And then that Christmas, a couple months later, my little brother came out to visit from Denver, where you are.
Yeah.
And he brought his crochet hooks, and we went and got some yarn, and we sat on my couch, and he taught me how to crochet. So after he went back home, I spent the next month or so trying all these different stitches and watching YouTube videos, and I bought crochet books and tried to figure it out. And that was 6 years ago, and now here we are.
Oh my gosh. I love that. I love that story. I love that it's your brother that taught you.
I know. It's funny because when he was in high school, it was his girlfriend's mom that taught him. She didn't care about it. His girlfriend didn't, but her mom taught him. So I thought that was really neat.
That's so cool. So what was your first project?
It was a lopsided scarf.
As it is for all of us, right?
Extremely wonky.
That's so great. So when you started crocheting, then obviously you learn it's like first off, 8 years ago, the internet is booming. So that's great. It's like when I learned that was literally right when eBay started. So I started buying all of the patterns and all of the yarn off of eBay. And I thought I was
Really?
like, oh yeah, I thought I had won the lottery. Like I was so excited. And I remember going to different websites, which weren't like, they were just really super simple, and it would have some instructions. I would print them out on colored paper and put them in a binder, and so that way I could go and find out how to do it. So I taught myself through reading instructions. Like there was no YouTube, there was nothing like that. I didn't even know like yarn stores existed outside of Walmart. Like I didn't know. I had no clue. So here you are, you're delving in, you're learning everything. You're probably watching some YouTube and stuff, but when was it that you were like, you know what, I can take this and I don't like what that's doing. I'm going to design it and do it this way. And then take us from starting to design, and then actually writing those patterns out.
I'm not sure actually when that first happened. I know that I wrote my first pattern in 2014, and then I didn't do anything for a couple of years, anything more with it. But I think that me designing patterns has a lot to do with sewing with my mom when I was a kid, because I know what certain pieces are supposed to look like, and then you compile it all together into a finished project. So I think that really helped me, having that background to go into.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What was one of the first things you designed then?
It was a beanie with a little mask on it that you
Okay.
put on the back.
Like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sort of
Yeah,
thing?
exactly.
Oh, how cute. How
Yeah,
cute.
that's the very first thing.
I love it. I love that it's a beanie. Mine was a shrug. Like the first thing I ever sat down with, it was one of my crochet friends. She's one of my friends, but she's one of my crochet friends too. I taught her how to crochet. She's one of my contract minions, like, because I figured if you need somebody to crochet something for you, teach them how to crochet, then they're gonna do it perfectly, right? Because
Right, yeah.
I taught them. Anyways, but she wanted to make a shrug for her daughter, and I remember sitting down with a notebook, and I'm like, no, this is what needs to happen. So it was just a rectangle, but I did the math and figured it out, which was a big step because nobody taught me how to do anything like that. And
Right.
I still have that today. That's one of the
Aw.
first things. So here you are, you're making the hat. How was the progression through your design process that brought you to garments and stuff, which is how I know you the most? I know that you've done other things, slippers, hats, blankets, but I was intrigued by I just forgot the name of it. I think it's the one you're wearing. It's the shawl wrap
All good. Yeah,
piece.
this one. This one's a shawl good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So tell me about your transition from the hat to garments.
Actually, that was all my sister's doing.
Okay.
I in the beginning there, I was constantly asking her for yarn advice. Okay, what yarn should I use for this? Or, just different tips and tricks. And we were chatting one day, and I was asking her about a border that I was putting on some wrap that I was doing. And she said, you really need to do more garments. She goes, clothing is where it's at. You need to start doing that. So then one of the very first garments I ever designed was the Painted Canyon cardigan, which is one of my most popular patterns ever.
Right.
And that was one of the first ones I ever did. So
Oh my gosh.
all
And
because of my sister. She told me to.
so how did you go about designing a garment? Like how did you teach yourself the math that is involved with garments and stuff? And what
I
struggles did you have?
Well, I always start with my own size first. And I usually make like 3 or 4 of them to get it the way I want. And then I'll size it up and down from there. So that's usually what I do.
Wow. Wow. And so since making your first garment, you've made several different garments. I know that you have a new one out right now using some various yarns you chose, but one of them is one of my new favorite yarns from Red Heart called Hygge yarn. So talk to me a little bit about the hoodie that's behind you
Oh,
and
I love it.
next to you. I know, I saw your Facebook Live with it. I was like, oh, she's so giddy.
I know. I just want to touch it.
Okay.
The Hygge is great for this hoodie because it is so soft and pliable. I mean, you wouldn't think it is when you're doing this. It's actually using the waistcoat stitch, which is kind of time consuming. We'll say
Yes.
that.
Yes.
But it does create a really, really sturdy stitch. So my goal for this hoodie was to have a really wide crossover over the front. Well, because of the edging and how heavy that would be, I couldn't really use a regular stitch. I needed something very sturdy so that it wouldn't create huge holes, you know, where it was pulling. So I went with the waistcoat, and the Hygge is just a perfect fit for this hoodie. This one is using a chunky worsted weight. And I'm actually getting ready to make another one. This is the With Love Chunky. And I'm going to use this one for the 12 to 18 month size that I'm starting today. And it's going to be perfect. So
awesome. And those of you wondering where you can get With Love Chunky, it's available at Joann Fabrics.
Yes.
And obviously redheart.com, but I want people to know because they
Right?
might not have seen it because it's relatively new to the market.
No, I love it. I love it. It's going to be perfect for this hoodie as well. So I do have all of the child sizes that I'm working on that are already, half of them are finished up testing, and then the other half we are still working on. But these are, the children's sizes are all going to be free on the blog when they are ready. So this one is the 2-3T size. Isn't it adorable with this cute little pocket? Oh my goodness. I don't know what she's going to put in there, but it's going to be fun whenever and it's got this great big hood, and it's just perfect. It's so cute. So yeah, I'm thrilled with this new pattern.
That is so cool. So show us the Hygge that you made for yourself.
The blue one?
Yes.
Okay. I could put it on, I suppose. This one is using the indigo color, and it is very heavy, but it is extremely, extremely warm. I don't know how well you can see that because it's so dark.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, but it is absolutely gorgeous. And I like to wear it, even though we've been having this polar vortex lately.
Yeah.
I'm in Kansas, and I know it's cold in Colorado. Here, it's been hovering, I don't know, between 17 and 25 degrees with wind chills of like -5, you know?
Yes.
But I've worn this out, even with just a tank top underneath with this, and I'm warm enough. Like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's definitely more like a coat.
That's so great.
Yeah.
So when you say that you do the sweater design in your size first, then you go from there, what are all the sizes that you provide? And do you only sell your patterns, or do you give them away for free? I know you just mentioned the kids size will be free on the blog. Talk to me about how that works, how people can get your pattern.
Sometimes, most of the time, I will do the child sizes for free on the blog. And then I do offer free adult patterns. This one is not one of those. This is the adult version of this one is a paid pattern. But most of the time I do offer the free child sizes.
Okay.
And then I like doing that because I feel like if I offer the smaller ones, then you can whip up a small one to get familiar with the pattern, learn how to do that stitch, or, you know, make sure that your sizing is correct. And then you give it to your niece or your nephew or whoever, you know, and then you can move on to make one for yourself, knowing that, okay, now I understand the pattern. It's going to go a lot easier this time, you know?
Okay, cool. So then you do have several different patterns then for sale?
Yes, I do.
And where can people buy those?
On Ravelry.
Perfect.
I do have some of them on Etsy. The sizing, I usually start between 6 and 12 months, and I try to go up to 4X or 5X adult.
Perfect. That was the next question I wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
So knowing, I mean, that I follow along with you, and I know that you're constantly crocheting and you crochet so fast, to be able to make something for you in like 2 or 3 different styles, whatever, to get it just right. Like, so I could never do that because I'm a 2X, 3X. And so, I mean, that's like making 3 regular size sweaters. Okay. By the time I get one done. How long does it take you from maybe, let's say, design concept to your first prototype that you're happy with?
That really depends. This one took forever because I quit in the middle of it because we went on a trip, and I didn't want to take this huge cardigan project, you know, for my whip on the airplane. I wanted something just really small that I can put in my suitcase, you know,
right?
Not that project. So it just depends. Sometimes it's as short as a couple of days, and sometimes it can be 6 weeks like this one. Yeah. But now it's perfect. So
perfect. Awesome. So besides garments and stuff, you obviously still make other items. Mm-hmm. And I see the blanket behind you, which I know that you are working on a crochet along right now with it. So let's talk about the blanket if you want to show it or talk about it or anything like that.
I will grab it. And here's my shawl good while I'm up.
I love it. I love it.
So this is the cowl that I'm working on, the Crochet Along. And we are using 2 different colors of yarn. I'm really thinking that this could be a scrap GAN, right? So find balls of yarn that are the right weight or the right yardage, and whip up some stash busting blankets, right? So what we've done is we're creating strips that we will literally weave together like a basket weave, and then we attach them together, and we add a cute little attaching, stabilizing little yarn tuft. And
Okay.
that is it. It's a sofa size. And when I'm finished with this one, part one was just released last Friday. Part two will be released next Friday. And then we'll do the edging together and stabilizing and everything together. When we're done with that, I'm going to publish the different stitch counts and row counts that you would need to do a baby blanket, or a larger blanket, or even a king size blanket. So different sizes of the same concept.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. I
Isn't
love
that
that.
cute? I love
So
it.
so it's 6 weeks long. Is that
No,
the right
5.
math? 5
5.
weeks.
I believe it ends. I'd have to look, but it's the end of March, I think,
Okay.
when it
And
ends.
if people are just seeing it here on the show, how can they participate and join along?
It is one of the newest posts on the blog, so on hearthookhome.com. This one is called the Woven in Time blanket because we're doing it together, and I thought woven would be sweet. There was another name that I almost used, and it was the Weave Me Alone blanket.
I love it. I
I
love
know.
that.
I kind of wish I would have used that now.
That is
Curl up
so
on the
cute.
couch and leave me alone, right?
That is
Perfect.
so awesome. That is so awesome. So that's cool. So they can join in with that. And then I also know I saw online that you have a brand new hat out, which is adorable. Like I'm like, did you use Red Heart or Sweet Home for that?
No, I
No.
used some more actually.
Oh,
I
really? Okay.
did because someone in my, I don't want to talk too much about it, but someone very close to me is undergoing some chemo treatments.
Okay.
And so I wanted to make her a hat that was more her style. I can make a beanie all day long, but she's very, I don't want to say artsy, but she needed something that wasn't a beanie. You know what I
Got
mean?
it.
So I made her a beret.
I love
And
that.
so hers is black, and it has 2 less rows. So this one is a little bit more slouchy than the one that I gave her. But it's perfect. This one used a little bit over 1 skein. The way the pattern is written, it uses exactly 1 skein of a more.
Okay.
So, perfect.
So this I'm going to show everybody so that way they can see, hopefully. This is the yarn she's talking about. This is incredibly soft. I actually just finished a shawl with this, and it's amazing. Like if you get a
It's so
chance to pick
soft.
this up, it is so nice. I know it's available at Walmart for sure. And then of course redheart.com. It's wonderful. So I love it when they're at Walmart because then I know so many people who shop at Walmart for groceries. So you can just slip it into your grocery pile
Right?
and nobody has to
Nobody will
know.
know.
I know. I love it. Such good yarn. And I love that hat. That's so cute. I'm a big fan of hats that are a little bit more slouchy and stuff too. Like I just did the game day one. As you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, they're fun. I love it. We have questions in the chat room. So if you're good, I'm gonna go over there and gonna ask you some various questions. Is that all right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sweet. If you need to take a drink of water or anything, you're good.
No, I forgot to bring one, so we're good.
Oh, see, I always have my soda or something here. All right, so I'm scrolling up a little ways so that I can see here. So many people are saying that they love you, they love your patterns. They say that let's see. Hi, Ashley. I'm glad to learn more about your work. Let's see here. I gotta skip some of the ones that don't pertain. Absolutely love Heart Hook Home. I've done tons of patterns. You are awesome. Then people are commenting on how they learn to crochet, and then they want to know more about the yarn behind you. Is that art? Is it yarn you use? Do you replenish? So I'm gonna let you talk about that.
All of the above, actually.
All right.
The yarn wall behind me, it's 11 feet wide and it's 4 feet tall. So it's pretty gigantic. Most of what's on there is worsted weight. All of what's on there, minus about 3 skeins, are worsted weight yarns. Most of it was gifted to me. I had one of my good friends, her grandmother passed away, and she had 4 huge Rubbermaid totes, and she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So she brought it over. A lot of it is older. A lot of it is Red Heart, believe it or not, like old Red Heart.
Yep.
And so I just wound everything up. It took me weeks. I got myself a fancy new yarn winder and wound the whole thing, all of the totes, and then color graded it to where, did the little effect of having a rainbow. I do use yarn off of it. I found that I can only do that with really small projects. If I'm going to make like this hoodie, I'm going to need more than just one small ball, right? So
Right.
if I can use it for like an accent color, if I'm doing like an amigurumi with face or eyes or something, then I'll pull a little bit of black off for the eyes. Or if I'm doing just a small little beanie, I'll pull, a ball off of there. Every once in a while in the lives, I forget that I've pulled from it. And so like there's these huge gaping holes. So I have to kind of, it's really fun though. It's kind of like living art because you can move everything around and it changes over time and I replenish it and it's a lot of fun.
I totally can appreciate that. Are they nails or what's holding
No,
them?
let me get one for you.
Okay. And while you're doing that, I'm going to click over because obviously, like my wall back here, this is all usable yarn, obviously. But to me, this is my art area.
Yeah,
The yarn
don't
behind,
touch it.
it's inspiring. I love it.
So what I have done to hang those, it's literally pegboard. My husband hung it for me, and he used some spacers on the back of the pegboard so that I can insert these little guys. And I
Okay.
make sure to get the ones with the little balls on the end. I actually have a whole tutorial for how to build a yarn wall because it's actually really cheap. The pegboard was only like $50 for the whole thing, and that's 11 feet,
Yeah.
And then these things are only $15 a box, I think, is what I linked to on Amazon. So it's actually pretty economical too. And then if you're using that as your actual yarn storage, you can see everything at once. That was part of my problem before. So I've had shelves and shelves and shelves with things behind things and behind things. I'm like,
Yep.
I don't know where that is,
Yeah.
So
I totally understand.
visible.
Yeah. That's the shelves for me for me. I was like, oh my gosh, I can see everything that I have all of a sudden and it's nice. So we do have some more questions. They love the hoodie. They love your design. Ellen is saying that she is also a 2X, 3X, and now will check out your designs knowing that you upsize to that number.
Awesome.
I'm gonna ask more about that real quickly. So I know that you have testers try out everything. So do you have the different testers then? Like if Ellen were a 2X, 3X, she could be like, okay, I'm gonna test this size, and they give you feedback of, yeah, technically this size works, but maybe it droops too much because now there's so much extra fabric, because obviously it's double the large size. Like how do you work through working out the larger sizes?
I always have people test all of my sizes, even the 6 to 12 month. I need to know if that's going to fit your kid or my kid or whoever's kid, since everyone's so different. With the adult sizes, I try to have those tested every single individual size as well, because like you say, I did a hoodie not too long ago, the Bean Happy hoodie, which uses the mini bean stitch, and it's super fun. My girlfriend tested the 4X size on that one, and the feedback that I got from her was great because she goes, for me, having the way that her body is shaped, she needed it to be a little bit longer in the front, just to offer a little bit more coverage. So I was able to, okay, well, I'll adjust this part of this size only, to make sure it's form flattering for every body.
Right. Yeah. Because usually when we get up that large, like usually you have larger bust. Sometimes you're dealing with more belly, so you need more coverage there.
That's one thing that I've learned too, is that the weight is not always in the same place.
Oh, no.
That it's flattering for everyone is a huge thing for me, and that's really why I want them tested every single size.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, Vicky Gentry is in here. She's saying that she tests for you in the larger sizes, and she's pretty awesome. Let's see here. DOS Box Mom says, what practical art the wall of yarn is. I absolutely have to agree. And then so many people are talking about how amazing you are.
Thanks, guys.
And let's see here. That's a wide range of sizes to include even kid sizes. So I want to say, so for me, I feel like you and I are like sitting down over coffee and I'm like, oh, so you do this? Oh, I do this. Oh, then you do this. I do this. So for me, so everybody that's watched the podcast for years and has followed me knows, like, I struggle with math. Math is it's a challenge for me. And it's not that I'm not good at it. It's that I make silly mistakes on easy stuff. And then it just compounds on each other. So I always have a tech editor look over my stuff. Half the time I have them do my sizing because then it's better than me to do it because I can, but I would rather pay them because it's going to take them 2 hours instead of 12 hours to fix my mistakes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I know that you happen to be good at math. So where I'm going with this is, so part of the designing for with sweaters and stuff is it's not only the construction of the sweater, but it's the math for the different sizing, for what needs to change and what doesn't need to change. Are you good at math? Have you, how do you tackle the math part of it all?
Honestly, I feel like I'm horrible at math. But I'm glad that you think otherwise. That's really encouraging. I think, I don't know what it is about the sizing of things. I find that a lot easier than traditional math, I do have an editor that goes through. Her name is Leslie, and she's amazing. And she goes through my patterns with a fine tooth comb to make sure that I didn't put the wrong number somewhere, or she catches all kinds of things. I'm like, I went through this a million times and I know it's perfect. And then she'll still find stuff. So it's great to have someone that it can do that and is willing to sit down and just take the time to, look it over. I've also learned to look at it from the bottom up, because if you're looking at it as you read it, it's easy to find or to miss mistakes. And if you look at it from the bottom, working your way up where it doesn't make sense logically, then it's easier to find mistakes.
I love it.
That'll work for you.
I love it.
I like it.
One of the things that I've noticed recently in some of your patterns, there's a lot of hoodies, but you do pockets and hoodies and all the little extra bits. What is it about crocheting and designing in general that kind of gets you going? Like, is it the extra bits, the little things that just make things special?
It is. And I noticed that I feel myself following this trend of creating clothing for women, right?
Mm-hmm.
So clothing is kind of my thing. Cardigans, I'm the queen of cardigans, the cardi queen, right? But I think that my passion, especially lately, has been to create designs that make you feel good about yourself. Like, not only is this hoodie going to keep me warm, but I'm going to look good doing it too, and then I know I made this, so it's really exciting. And then you go to Joann and you're buying your yarn, to make another one of these, and someone in their checkout line says, "Oh my gosh, I love your sweater." Well, thanks, I made it. And nobody can believe it, because I just try to make things that are as flattering as possible and as, stylish. So, yeah.
I love that.
My thing.
I love it. So many people are saying that, again, you're amazing. Somebody's saying that they stink at math. She says, what size is your small? So I don't know how that, maybe this, what sizing chart do you follow? Do you create your own, or do you follow the Craft Yarn Council's?
I do look at Craft Yarn Council. I have a huge spreadsheet that I created for myself, compiled from different sources, that has been tried and true for me in the past. So that is the sizing chart that I follow. As far as like the small sizing for adult small, I try to make that the same size as my largest child.
Okay.
So that they're almost interchangeable.
Perfect. Speaking of child, Jessica Shear is saying she loves that she can make a mother-daughter matching sweater. And so, I mean, I could absolutely see where that's exciting. Yeah. Denise is saying, "Hi, Marley and Ashley. I love you both. I can't believe I'm able to catch two of my two favorite designers. You guys are awesome." Well, you're awesome, Denise. Catherine is saying, "Ashley's positive attitude is contagious. I find myself smiling during her videos." That's a huge compliment. Like, yeah,
we have so much fun.
That's so great.
Maybe too much fun.
I think that's awesome. I love it so much. Let's see. All of a sudden my thing jumped up too much. Says, "I love the honcho poncho you just released." Honcho poncho.
It's the head honcho poncho.
Got it. Head honcho poncho. I love it.
Yeah, it's using all front post and back post stitches, but it's got this great squishy texture to it. It's amazing.
I love it. I love it. Again, more people saying you both are awesome. That's so great. Ashley is so inspiring and motivating. Her energy is contagious. And I would absolutely have to agree. I love it. So I know that you are also now a joy creator, which means you work a lot with Red Heart yarns and stuff, which is amazing because you are amazing. Like I went to Allison. I said, "Okay, Allison, we got to have this girl. She's really good." So what do you find? How about this? What's one of your favorite Red Heart yarns that's out here? I mean, obviously you like Hygge, but let's just throw that out there.
I love Hygge. I love it. Honestly, what I've been using the most lately is With Love.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I'm really excited to try the With Love Chunky. I haven't gotten my hands through it yet, but I'm
Uh-huh.
going to start with it today, and I am really excited to use that. I like how soft it is. It's super, super soft.
Mhm.
So I do love, say that's a trick question, I think, almost, because there's like so many of the yarns that I love.
I know. I
Yeah.
know. I could totally relate.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of yarn and gifts here on the podcast, we always have guests that come on the show and offer a prize to people who are watching live for the podcast and people who catch the podcast at a later date. And today is no different. Ashley has a wonderful prize available for us. And so if you're watching live on the podcast right now, it's 10:41 a.m. Denver Mountain Time. I want you to, in the chat area, what should they write, Ashley? They should write something.
I don't know. What should they write?
I don't know.
Let's see.
How about unbelievable?
Okay. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Ashley is unbelievable. Get it? Weavable. All right. So unbelievable. People are gonna be like, what? Unbelievable. I love it, guys. So make sure in the chat room, make sure you write unbelievable for a chance to win a prize package from Red Heart Yarns. And is the price, I'm going to ask you, this is kind of secret, Ashley. Is the prize package for the live winner the same as the comment winner? Oh no, the comment winner, it says free pattern.
Yes, the
Is that
comment
right?
winner. So right now, the live winner gets the $50 prize pack from Red Heart.
Perfect.
And the winner later that is not live,
Oop.
free crochet pattern. Did you get me?
Yeah, I gotcha.
So the winner of the after the live wins a free pattern of their choice.
Awesome. So right now, live on air, guys, so many people are writing unbelievable. I love it's cracking me up. Unbelievable. You are entering for a chance to win a $50 prize package from Red Heart Yarns, and they choose the yarn for you. They put together the prize package and send that out. So we will randomly select a winner here in just a second in the chat area. But if you're not listening live, don't worry. There's always a chance for you to win as well. You'll find in the show notes, there is a link to, or no, in the video description, you'll find there is a link to the show notes over at marleybird.com. And if you guys ever have a question of where the show notes are, when you go to marleybird.com in the drop-down menu for podcast, you'll see it says show notes. And all the show notes we've done for every single podcast is there. So you can find it really easily if ever it's not in the video description, but that's neither here nor there. So because I know that it's in the video description of this video, click on that. You'll go to the show notes. It'll have a brief description of the show, who Ashley is, a link to the podcast. And then at the very bottom, you have to scroll all the way to the bottom if you're on your mobile, on your desktop, whatever it is. You want to make sure you leave a comment or leave a reply. And you want to include a keyword in that comment or reply to prove that you watched the show. And as Ashley just mentioned, what you're doing is you're entering for a chance to win a free pattern from Ashley. So Ash, what should their keyword be over on the comments?
Over there, maybe the keyword should be beret.
Beret. Okay, I like it.
You
Beret.
like that for this beret pattern I just published?
I love it. I love it.
No
so
one will
beret.
ever know, except for you and me.
That's awesome. I love it. So beret is your keyword to use in the comments on the show notes, which are available at marleybird.com. Quick side note, I love your comments here on YouTube. Really, I do. YouTube loves your comments here on YouTube. And make sure you smash that like button if you haven't done that yet. But to be entered for a chance to win, you have to leave your comments on the show notes over on my website. We like to have everything in one place to be able to randomly select a winner there. So that's why you must put your comment there for a chance to win. Okay. So many people will leave a comment here on YouTube with the keyword, and I know that they're not leaving their comment in the comment section of the show notes, and I don't want you to miss a chance to win. So just letting you know there. Okay, so Ashley, I'm going to come over here to the chat, the pop-up chat, and I'm going to start scrolling, and you tell me when to stop. And when you tell me to stop, whoever the cursor is on will be the lucky winner.
Okay. Stop.
Okay.
Is that too quick? You want to do that?
I don't know. You said it always startles me because as soon as I hear you, I want to make sure I move my hand. Okay, so it's Jacqueline Richardson. Jacqueline Richardson. It says, I love with love too. It seems to be a little on the big end of the 4 weight. Unbelievable. So, yes, I would agree, Jacqueline. It's a little bit thicker than the normal 4. It's almost like an Aran, but yes, and it's unbelievable.
Love it.
So, Jacqueline Richardson,
Perfect.
make sure you email me, winner@yarnthinkpodcast.com, with your mailing address and phone number, and we will get you your $50 prize package from Red Heart Yarns. So I'm going to click over here to you, Ashley, as I type to Jacqueline so that way she can leave me a comment. There you are. When you're done with this crochet along and the hoodie is working its way along, what are you working on next? And how do you decide what's going to come up next? Or is that to just pop in your head?
You know what I thrive on is short deadlines. Um,
Oh, I do too. I totally can relate.
I really do my best work, my best designing when I have a very short deadline to
Yep.
follow. So what I like to do, or what usually ends up happening, I don't know if I like it, but usually what ends up happening is I see someone post something in my Facebook group and they say, man, I really wish I had a design for this. Or they'll just give me a little earworm that I can think on and think about, okay, how would I do that? And then usually it's as soon as someone plants one of those seeds, then I obsess over it, and then I create my first one that's in my size, and then I go from there. So usually it's just really fast. Kind of fly by the seat of my pants a little bit. I do have a list of things over here on my dry erase board that I have a whole list of things that I want to make. But usually what happens is I see a squirrel and I go crazy down this rabbit hole, and then I make all the child sizes and all the sizes for everything. And then I go back to my list and, oh, what was I going to work on again? So I pull something that I on my to-do list forever. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's usually how it works.
I totally relate to you. Absolutely relate to you. And the whole thing of like the last minute sort of stuff, like that's totally me. Like 100% that is me. Yeah, we can talk about it more later because that's totally right where I am. I'm loving this. Excuse me. I'm still this stupid cold thing. It just won't go away.
Yeah. Doesn't help, does it?
People are saying congratulations to Jacqueline, obviously, and they want to know what is your Facebook address and your website, and then if you have a YouTube channel and all of that good stuff. So let's make sure that they know that here on the podcast, but I do want them to know that they can find all of that in the show notes as well. So if you miss it, guys, go to the show notes. All the information is there.
Yep. So I am hearthookhome.com. I'm Hearthook Home on Facebook. Hearthook Home on Pinterest and on YouTube and on Instagram. So it's all just Hearthook Home, and you can find me.
All right. And obviously I missed like the biggest question of all, but how did you come up with that name?
Actually, that's a really good question.
I know, right? The very end of the podcast.
Forever. Because when I first started blogging, I was the coupon blogger, right? And I came up with the blog name Deal Detecting Diva. So that's who I was. I was DDD, right?
Okay.
So I really like using alliteration. Is that alliteration?
Yes.
Yeah, that's me. You'll notice that in most of my patterns, I do it as well. I just can't help myself. So when I switched over to Crochet Blog, I wanted to do Hearthook Home or something with HHH or PPP or something like that. The heart actually is for my oldest son. He has a rare heart defect. So he's had multiple open heart surgeries. He's had multiple procedures. He's used to be on a feeding tube. Like, it was a huge ordeal to get him to be healthy again. And he's going to need more open heart surgeries the more he grows, because they have to replace a part in his heart that doesn't grow with him. Oh, wow. So that's what the heart is for. So I do blog a little bit about CHD, which is congenital heart defects, and resources for families that are just newly diagnosed with their child is born with a heart defect, and they're just like, I have no idea where to go for resources. I have a whole section there on my blog for that. So I know it's a lot more common than one would think. And then hook obviously is crochet, and home is when we share recipes and things like that. Okay. Not very often, but we do have some recipes on there, and like even around the home stuff, like making Swiffer solution for your wet jet. you know, put all
Perfect.
kinds of stuff on there.
Absolutely perfect. I love it. This has been so much fun. Oh, somebody's asking the purple shawl. So whoever it is, it's already scrolled. It's already scrolled, so I can't see. The purple shawl back there, that is from the Tournament of Stitches. So is the pink shawl behind me. I had all the Tournament of Stitches stuff remade, and so yay, I'm having it all published. Sorry, I wanted to answer that really quickly.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
somebody.
awesome.
I love talking to you. I mean, I had so much fun when we were in Arizona together. I wish we could have had more time together, but and those dang Chiefs, they should have pulled it out.
I
Like,
know,
oh,
I'm still upset.
would have been so much better. But I mean, I wish you the greatest of success. I love following you. I love your spirit. I would love to collaborate with you sometime because
Yes, let's do it.
I think we could come out with some kick
Yeah.
butt stuff.
Yeah.
Try not to curse. We would really kick some butt. And I think it would be really awesome. So I'm just blessed to know you. Thank you so
Oh,
much for
thank
joining me on
you.
the
I'm so
podcast
excited
today.
to be here. It's so much
It's so
fun.
it's so great.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So, those of you out there in the Yarn Thing podcast world, just so you know, once again, you can find the link to the show notes in the video description of this video. And that will give you all the direct links to Ashley, a little bit of her backstory. You can rewatch this video as well if you would like to. And make sure you have hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and all the good things. All right, guys. So, I am headed to Stitches West. I leave tomorrow morning, actually. I'm going to meet up with Tamara. We have some fun things planned there at Stitches. So make sure you are a part of the Marley Bird Facebook page and the Marley's Minion group. We're going to try and do some stuff here on YouTube as well, but we'll see how that goes. Sometimes, technology. So we're going to see what we could do. But don't forget that the pajama party is Friday night, and you can't have any video cameras there. No pictures, no nothing, because what happens at the PJ party stays at the PJ party,
Like
and
Vegas, right?
it really is. It's epic. So if y'all want to come see me make a fool of myself and genuinely have a good time, come in and join me at the Stitches PJ party Friday night, and that's in Santa Clara, California, at the Santa Clara Convention Center, guys. That is the 21st through the 24th. Okay, other than that, hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the week. Hope to see you this weekend. And Ashley, thank you once again for joining me on the show.
Thanks for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Okay, bye-bye, hun.
Bye.